Hi friends, so many podcasts I have done in Telugu, but a lot of my friends who are in America and who do not follow Telugu that well requested me to do some podcasts in English also. So hence I decided that probably every month I will do one podcast in English. This week I selected a book, The Lost Art of Healing, written by Bernard Lown. He is a cardiologist and he has written in the year 1996. About the author, Dr. Bernard Lown is a cardiologist of world renown. He is a professor emeritus of cardiology at the Harvard School of Public Health and senior physician at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. He is in active cardiology practice at the Lown Cardiovascular Center in Brooklyn, Massachusetts. A pioneer in research on sudden cardiac death, Dr. Lown invented the defibrillator and the cardioverter and introduced the drug lidocaine used worldwide to control disturbance of the heartbeat. I am sure every physician and every doctor will know about the defibrillator, and we all have used the defibrillator many a time to save the patient from death during the cardiac arrest. This defibrillator was invented by this gentleman. Dr. Lown has been instrumental in involving physicians globally in raising public awareness of the catastrophic consequences of nuclear war and the urgency of the abolition of these weapons of genocide. He is co-founder and co-president emeritus of International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War, IPPNW, which has seen its membership grow to more than 200,000 physicians in 80 nations since its establishment in 1980. In 1985, Dr. Lown accepted the Nobel Peace Prize on behalf of the organization. He has lived for 99 years and died in 2021, very recently. He has written 4 books, and this is one of the books, The Lost Art of Healing, Practicing Compassion in Medicine. Somewhere I came across this book and I could not put it down until I finished almost 330 pages. It is one of the most fascinating books I have read in my life, written by a doctor. In the whole book, he writes about the art of healing and about the necessity of the human touch and about how mechanical we have become and why the art of healing has been lost in the present mechanical circumstances and how we can get it back, all these things. And he has given so many anecdotes that mind over body and the ability of the physician to comfort the patient if not cure. So in his own words, in the preface, I will read. Medicine in the United States is widely regarded as the best in the world. Hardly a day passes without a major scientific breakthrough. Many formerly fatal diseases are now curable, people are healthier and live longer than ever. Still, patient dissatisfaction with the doctors has rarely been more acute. Although physicians are increasingly able to cure disease and prolong life, the public is suspicious, distrustful of, even antagonistic to the profession. Doctors, uneasy, astonished, resentful and angry, and universally acknowledge a crisis in healthcare. The basic reason is that medicine has lost its way, if not its soul. An unwritten covenant between doctor and patient, hallowed over several millennia, is being broken. During my professional life, I have seen medicine rise to an apogee of respect, sometimes amounting to adulation, then watched in distress as it began a rapid downward slide, which is continuing. At mid-century, a doctor's image outshone nearly every other profession or calling. Yet it appears that with each new medical miracle, the image of physicians shrinks and grows more tarnished. It's a very unfortunate thing, which he has written very well. So many miracles, so many advances have happened in medical science, but the doctor-patient relationship is at the lowest and the patient doesn't trust you. He thinks that you are a bloodsucker until proved otherwise. It seems to me that medicine has indulged in a Faustian bargain, a 3,000-year tradition which bonded doctor and patient in a special affinity of trust is being traded for a new type of relationship. Healing is replaced with the treating, caring is supplanted by managing, and the art of listening is taken over by technological procedures. Doctors no longer minister to a distinctive person, but concern themselves with fragmented, malfunctioning biologic parts. The distressed human being is frequently absent from the transaction. They are so ironical that the decline in respect for doctors is also accelerated by the extraordinary hubris instilled in medical students. They are taught a reductionist medical model in which human beings are presented as complex biochemical factories. Really, in my medical school, in those days, there was never a class how to take care of a patient, how to be compassionate, how to be humane. Nobody taught us. They are taught a reductionist medical model in which human beings are presented as complex biochemical factories. A sick person is merely a repository of malfunctioning organs or deranged regulatory systems that respond to some technical fix. Within this construct, the doctor, as exacting scientist, uses sophisticated instruments and advanced methods to engage in an exciting act of discovery. With the advent of artificial intelligence and the machine learning, I don't know where we are going in the future. It is very relevant, I feel, that every doctor in the present context in 2023 should read this book. In moving words to his doctor, the essayist Anatole Broyard, shortly before his death from prostate cancer, wrote, this is from a patient who was dying with a prostate cancer, his letter to a doctor. I won't demand a lot of my doctor's time. I just wish he would brood on my situation for perhaps 5 minutes, that he would give me his whole mind just once, be bonded with me for a brief space, survey my soul as well as my flesh to get at my illness, for each man is ill in his own way. Just as he orders blood tests and bone scans of my body, I would like my doctor to scan me, to grope for my spirit as well as my prostate. Without some such recognition, I am nothing but my illness. How many patients feel this way? We don't know. I cannot emphasize too categorically that science must not be abandoned in order to heal. On the contrary, healing is best accomplished when art and science are conjoined, when body and spirit are probed together. Only when doctors can brood for the fate of a fellow human afflicted with fear and pain do they engage the unique individuality of a particular human being. A sick patient becomes more than his or her illness. Really, a lot of us forgot how to touch the patient, how to touch the soul of the patient. Boston physician Francis Peabody counseled that the secret of care of the patient is caring for the patient, in a very simple terms. So he has written a beautiful preface for this, and end of the day he says, I feel extraordinarily privileged to be a physician. A doctor, after all, has a front row seat for an unmatched theatrical performance. While art may imitate life, it never quite measures up to it. The doctor is a spectator to a sweeping panorama of events that constitutes a mirror of the social and cultural history of an era. I have often felt guilty about billing patients. Rarely is one permitted to gain such intimate insight. No pleasure is quite akin to the joy of helping other human beings secure and lengthen their hold on life. This book is a small recompense to my patients, ultimately my greatest teachers who helped me to become a doctor. Beautiful words, very clearly, emotionally written. In this, there is one chapter called Mind and Heart. In that, he writes or he quotes an anecdote which is very, very interesting. I'll read it for you. So he just goes on arguing that doctor, just by the love and the appreciation of the illness of the patient, by touching the patient, he can make a difference in the psyche of the patient. It may not cure the disease, but it will enlighten the soul of the patient. My interest in the psychological was constantly re-aroused by clinical observations and by studying the encyclopedic literature. A report in an Indian medical periodical, Killed by the Imagination, left an indelible impression early in my career. This was written in an Indian medical periodical titled Killed by the Imagination. It is written by N.S. Yagwar, Emotions as a Cause of Rapid and Sudden Death, Archives of Neurology and Psychiatry, 1936. A Hindu physician was authorized by prison authorities to conduct an astonishing experiment on a criminal condemned to death by hanging. In those days, these criminals who were condemned to hang were used as guinea pigs in medical experiments. The doctor persuaded the prisoner to permit himself to be exsanguinated, in other words, bled to death, assuring him that death, though gradual, would be painless. The convict, on agreeing, was strapped to a bed and blindfolded. Vessels filled with water were hung at each of the 4 bedposts and set up to drip into basins on the floor. The skin on his 4 extremities was scratched, not cut, and the water began to drip into the containers, initially fast, then progressively slowing. By degrees, the prisoner grew weaker, a condition reinforced by the physician's intoning in a lower and lower voice. Finally, the silence was absolute as the dripping of water ceased. Although the prisoner was a healthy young man, at the completion of the experiment, when the water flow stopped, he appeared to have fainted. On examination, however, he was found to be dead, despite not having lost a single drop of blood. So, this is an experiment with which Dr. Lown tells us just by suggestion, and the mind has worked over the body, and the prisoner thought that he was being bled to death and he died. So every affection of the mind that is attended with either pain or pleasure, hope or fear is the cause of an agitation whose influence extends to the heart. So very, very interesting book. Some might feel that it is a romantic book. It's not practical book, but without romancing, where is life? I request all my medical friends, even non-medical friends, to read this book, The Lost Art of Healing. Let me hope that this book will enlighten some souls and make some difference in the treatment of the patients. Thank you.